Welcome to Paint a Beautiful Picture. Today we're going to talk about teaching your child how to live and why. I want to tell you something. You can just live. You're gonna. You get up, you breathe, you walk through the day, you go to bed at night, you still keep breathing while you're asleep. Yeah, that's some kind of living. It is. I acknowledge that to you. I actually call that existing, which is a little different than living, but it's a kind of a life. It's not a life I could be happy with. And honestly, I want to acknowledge to you, maybe that's a life you're happy with. And if it is, okay, I respect that. I do really sincerely mean that. Okay. However, if you want to live a vibrant, purposeful, active, enthusiastic, probably exciting kind of a life, it's going to take a little more than just stand up off the bed in the morning, start breathing, and walk through the day. It's going to take more. Okay. And some people don't know how to do that. Really. The kind of life I had as a kid, yeah. Though I lived a lot of days, I existed an awful lot of days. I was just doing whatever I could to put my one foot in front of the other one and get myself through the day. That's really true. When we have an abusive history or we are living in an abusive situation, when there isn't much value placed on us and we don't have a lot of value for ourselves, it's pretty challenging to live and be vibrant and go after life with gusto. It really and truly is. Okay. I want to give you an illustration. When a football player is training, especially a professional, everything about their entire life is under control and focused on the game. Okay. They eat well. They sleep well. Sometimes they're not allowed to have sex for certain periods of time. So they're better prepared for the game and they retain their focus and their mind isn't all over the place, or other parts of their body aren't all over the place either. So their body is under control and they're directing their life in a specific way to meet the goal. And that is to be an incredible athlete, an amazing part of a team, and hopefully a winner. That's what they have to do. Let's talk for a minute about a dancer. Her entire life is focused on what she's doing. And again, she has to have control of her body. She has to have control of what she eats. She takes very good care of staying stretched and keeping her muscles toned and all of the kinds of activities that she has to do, strengthening her feet, especially if she's a ballet dancer. She practices for hours and hours a day, all of those movements so that they're done with fluidity and grace. And when she gets on that stage, she knows just what she's doing and everything has directed her to that very moment so that she can dance beautifully. And people can really be impressed and amazed at the beauty with which she moves and develops and portrays an idea through the music with her body. Okay? That's a life. And it is a life for a dancer or an athlete. That is their life. Lots of us don't have that kind of focus. And frankly, we don't have that kind of time and attention and devotion. And it's okay. It is. But the $1 million question for you is, what is your life? What is your life? For some people, their life is education. I've known people who are still on their, 8th or 9th year of college, well into their 20s. They call them professional students. I don't know that they love the educational part, but they don't really want to move on with the rest of life and deal with the real world getting a job. There are lots of kinds of lives. I admit that to you. Okay? What's your life like? That's the question of the day. What is your life like? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Does it have meaning for you? Are you satisfied with it? Are you dissatisfied with it? What is your life like? You have to look at your own life before you're going to be able to impart to your child how to live and why. Every single young person I've ever talked to, I really mean this, I can say this to you very sincerely, has questions. Why am I here? What's my life about? What am I supposed to be doing? Okay? This is the human condition. Don't think this is an American condition. This is true in Europe. This is also equally true in Africa. I have seen this in the Philippines. I have seen this in Mexico. Okay. This is a fair and honest question. What am I doing here? What is the point of my existence? In other words, what is life? What is life about? It's a good question. I'm here to tell you as a parent. I want to encourage you, and I'll even help you to have answers to that. Okay? Life is about, I'm going to tell you my own ideas about life, okay? I didn't say these are yours. I'm just going to share mine with you. Life is about sharing rich experiences with others. Life is about loving others. Life is about contributing to others. Life is about serving others. Life is about doing what I enjoy. You notice there's a whole lot more other in there than there is me. For me, that's kind of a big deal. I think if I lived my life in a really self-centered manner, I'd probably be pretty miserable because that's just not who I am. But I will show you that the dancer or the athlete, though what they do ends up being for the benefit of others or part of even teamwork, it is ultimately about themselves and the mastery of their own body and the development of their own skill and talent. That's somewhat of a more self-centered life, maybe. And there's nothing wrong with it at all, okay? I'm going to talk to you about work as a chef for a minute because I really love cooking. Oh, lands, I love to cook. You know the song Happy by Pharrell Williams when he says, if you're happy, it's like a room without a roof. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. I said to my friend the other day, yeah, I know what happiness is to me. Happiness to me is getting in the kitchen and really flinging some stuff around and making an amazingly good quality, very attractive meal and having people sit down and just love it and have wonderful fellowship. That truly makes me happy. Okay. In a kitchen, it is a lot of cooperation amongst a number of people doing different things, and there's a lot of timing and a lot of coordination involved. I just like all the elements of what it takes to be in a professional kitchen and work as a chef. I really like it. I really love nursing. I love patient care. I don't have any problems with screaming pregnant women. I love the process of birth and seeing new life come and helping to facilitate in a positive way the changes that occur in a family with the introduction of that new little person. I really like it. And I like the cooperation among my fellow nurses and what happens on a unit and working alongside of doctors. In my lifetime, I've really been blessed because I just love my work. That's a fact. A lot of people hate their work their whole life. I've been so blessed. I love working as a chef. I love working as a nurse. And I really love working as a teacher. So I've just had a great life. But how do you live? Okay. Do you live accidentally? You just kind of float through life and things happen to you and you never take control and you don't really have any sense of purpose? If you feel great about that, even if you feel pretty good about that, if that works for you, okay. Like I said, I respect that. If you kind of float through life and you don't really like it and things keep happening to you, but you're not taking control, you haven't really developed who you are as a person or developed your interests and you don't have a lot of richness or fullness in your life, I want to challenge you to get a hold of it. It's your life, every single day of it. Do with it what matters to you. If you haven't found out what matters, find out, okay? It might take 4, 6, or 8 years of education to get something that you want, depending on if you want to be a nurse or you want to be a doc, or there are so many other possibilities, an engineer. You might have to develop some time and energy into being what you want to be so that your life is full and rich, but go for it. Get started. Today's a good day. Okay. How do you live? Do you live intentionally? Do you live by accident? Do you live with people you really like? Do you live with people you just can't stand? Do you live with people who treat you badly? Do you live with people who respect you? Honest and really, you do have control over some things in your life. Maybe not when you're 12, but by the time you're 20, yeah, you have a good bit of control. I want to say to you, I understand the things that we grow up with and live through, they do shape us. For some of us, it might take longer. I was 30 before I graduated from nursing school. I had to go through some things before I was at a point where I could go get an education and do what mattered to me. I'm just going to tell you, it's all right. If you've had things that held you back, or situations and circumstances, or even people that made it very difficult for you to live your life, I understand really well. And I can still say out loud to you, you can still get a hold of your life. You still have some control. You can still develop the kind of life that you want. And when you do, you need to give that information to your child. You need to pass it on. Why? This is the big one. Because life is not just a meaningless exercise. It's not just putting one foot in front of the other and breathing, because your subconscious mind is going to make you breathe, whether you want to or not. It is about joy and relationship and personal satisfaction and fulfillment. Because I've got to say to you that when you begin to fulfill your purpose in life and you live purposefully, that honors God. Life really is a gift from God, and it should and can be given back to Him in a way that makes Him happy. You know, I really want to delight the heart of God. I don't want God to look down and go, okay. I want Him to look down and go, yes, way to go, Violet. All right, girl, you do it. I really mean that. I want God to delight in my life. And that's why I said, when it comes to serving others, when it comes to bringing joy to others, nurturing others, teaching others, sharing intimately in healthy, positive, awesome relationship with others, that delights the heart of God. And I know that it does. The question for you is, what about your life brings joy to you, joy to the people around you, and delight to the heart of God? If you have no idea, I invite you to start thinking about that today. Because honest and really, life is amazing. If you doubt it, I dare you. I mean this with all my heart. I dare you to go visit a hospital, walk onto a cancer ward, find a 35-year-old young woman dying of breast cancer. Talk to her about life. Man, she would fight for one more day, one more hour of a good, strong, healthy life. I dare you to go to a prison, not a high security one, and say, you know, I'm looking for someone who really needs a friend, and mean it. And find a prisoner. Dude, if you're in your late 20s and you have no idea about life, you're the guy I'm talking to. Go talk to a guy who's wasted his life, who's sitting in prison and has a 20-year sentence. Talk to him if he could do his life over, or if he could go out onto the street again and not be locked up. What would his life be? Some of those people who don't have a life or are fighting for life, who aren't going to have much life left, those people can really help you learn a lot about life if you're courageous enough to find out. I mean it. If you don't feel like you got the guts to go do that, and I grant you that's really hard to do, okay? Then read books, because people tell their stories. Really honestly assess what that looks like and go, okay, in light of what they would do if they could get one more day of life or one more day of free life, what does that mean to me? Because I got a free life. I mean, I'm walking the streets. I have a mind that works. I have hands and feet that work. Land sakes, I even have a car and a house. I mean, I have a life. What does this tell me? How does this inform me about how I want to live my life and why? Okay? And you do that same thing for your kids. I'm really serious about that. I literally took my kids to go see people that were dying. I mean it. I wanted them to learn. I didn't hold them back from looking at things that were hard so that it could inform their thinking. I took them to look at kids in the Philippines who lived at the dump, who didn't even have a house, didn't have a bed, maybe had a cardboard box when they were lucky, certainly didn't have enough to eat, didn't have shoes. I took my kids there. I let them see. I let them play with those kids and hang out with those kids and even become friends with some of those kids. Some of those kids died. My son saw life differently from that day forward and forever. It was a good thing I did for my kids. I took my kids to homeless shelters. I took my kids to feed people that were really challenged in homeless places. And I let my kids see what life could look like and the other side of what their life could really be purposefully if they learned why they were living and how they wanted to do it. So I'm encouraging you today, look at your own life. Is it the life you want? If it isn't, take steps to get another one because you can. And teach your kids how to live a meaningful, vibrant, purposeful, useful, responsible life. And teach them why. Because let me tell you, I'm a 66-year-old woman. I have got so much joy, really, I mean it, in the relationships that I have with people. I have had so much meaning because of the things I have been privileged to do. And I have real perspective because of the things I've been privileged, and I do mean that with all my heart, to see, and because of the ways I have been allowed to serve. I've taken those opportunities. It's been a great life. That is nowhere near over with yet. And I want you to be able to look back and say the very exact same thing. So please help your child and help yourself learn how to live and why. Thank you so much for joining me today on Paint a Beautiful Picture. You may find additional information on our paintabeautifulpicture.com website. Additionally, you may watch me on Rumble, and you may also listen to a podcast on Buzzsprout or Spreaker, all under the name Paint a Beautiful Picture. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. You may subscribe, and if you are interested in receiving notifications, please hit the notifications button.